Hey, what is going on, Twintendo Nation? Hope you're having an awesome day. Today we are going to be reviewing the 5th Pokemon anime episode of this brand new series, which is Snorlax Grows Gigantic, The Mystery of Dynamax. This is actually kind of a second part, basically with episode 4, which was Let's Go to the Galar region and encounter with Scorbunny, Ash and go to the Galar region for the first time. This continues basically straight off the 4th episode, and it kind of concludes this little part of the show, I guess, and it's a good conclusion. It's a good episode again, and we're going to be talking about what the plot of this episode was, and what we liked and what we didn't like. So again, I am joined with my brother Ollie. What did you think of this episode this week?
So once again, it was a really good episode, and I feel really validated that I chose Scorbunny as a partner in Pokemon Shield, because it was just so endearing and cute in this episode. It went through some mighty ordeals to get after Go. Obviously, we saw in the last episode that the Nickit threw it onto the train, to go after Go because he was that enamoured with him. And obviously at the start of the episode, we see that he's really fallen for him, and he tried ever so hard to find him. And yet the worst was yet to come, wasn't it, James?
Yeah, so basically, Scorbunny kind of starts this episode as it left off in episode 4, just going after Go. Fails to get his attention quite a few times, and then essentially Ash and Go leave the train with Scorbunny kind of in a daze. I think it was sleeping, and yeah, the train kind of drives off with Scorbunny on board, and sees Ash and Go getting off at the station, and he essentially has to jump out of a moving train, which is probably like the most dangerous thing I could think of doing in my life. So I don't know how Scorbunny survived it. But then it runs along the train tracks back towards the station, which is going to be a few miles, and has to go through rivers, bushes, trees. It's just an ordeal, and because Ash and Go were in the wild area, we know how big the wild area is in Pokemon Sword and Shield. I'm assuming normally the anime obviously is a much bigger scale. Scorbunny's probably trekked quite a long time just to find Ash and Go.
Yeah, and that's demonstrated obviously is when Scorbunny does find Go, he's clutching onto a stick to support him. He must have walked a very long way on those little feet, and you've got to say it's a big compliment to Go that a Pokemon that you've only just met is that willing to go after you. I don't really see much in Go, to make me think, he's that worthy of that attention, but clearly Scorbunny thinks so, and it was really endearing to see. So he finds the two boys, he finds Go, and he's ever so happy, and he finally succeeds in getting their attention. He ends up kicking a rock at Ash's head, not on purpose, but probably the most effective thing to do. And yeah, that causes the fruit on the tree that the two lads are trying to get for the Snorlax to fall into its mouth, and then the big event of the episode happens, doesn't it, James?
Yeah, so we see Snorlax kind of absorb all the red light, which is kind of the Dynamax, Gigantamax energy. And yeah, it turns into Gigantamax Snorlax, which is kind of being distributed at the moment on Pokemon Sword and Shield in collaboration with the anime, which is quite cool to kind of showing these at the same time. And yeah, it grows super big, and kind of the main plot of this obviously is Scorbunny going to Go and trying to join Go's team. But mainly, Snorlax blocks the train tracks, and Ash and Go have to somehow get a gigantic, I don't know how much this thing weighs. There will be a Pokedex entry on how much it weighs, but they've got to somehow move this Snorlax off the train tracks. And it's, Go saying, we've got 8 minutes to move Gigantamax Snorlax off the train tracks. And I was thinking, how unrealistic is this? For those who live in the UK, you will know trains are never on time. They probably had about 2 hours to move this thing, but for once the train was on time, and yeah, they had to move this thing pretty quickly. So Ash and Go climb Gigantamax Snorlax like it's Mount Everest, and because basically Gigantamax Snorlax, it has a tree on it. It basically has like gigantic flowers, gigantic trees. It's kind of like a little forest on its chest. I say little forest, gigantic forest really. And this big tree on Snorlax's chest comes from like a berry seed. So it's interesting that the lore of Gigantamax Snorlax is like it's eaten food and it's left the seeds on its stomach, and then that when it Gigantamaxes, the seeds will also grow on it. It's kind of weird, but there's another berry that is just eaten, kind of the one it ate before, but it's a gigantic version of that, and Ash and Pikachu try and knock it down to Snorlax's mouth to eat it, and Go and Scorbunny give it a helping hand by kicking it to Snorlax's face, letting it eat it, and it kind of just jumps out the way of the train at the last minute. It was a fun little plot line, wasn't it all?
Yeah, and what's interesting to note about the whole Gigantamax sequence is obviously it eats that berry, and when it does Gigantamax, the camera zooms out and you see the tree that Snorlax is sat under, and it's sat on a hill that resembles like a very round belly, almost as if it was destined to grow into that shape. It makes you wonder if whatever Snorlax eats when it Gigantamaxes, it sort of replicates its surroundings. Probably just a little nod to its design, but I thought it was pretty interesting. But yeah, I was a bit nervous actually with the whole train. You think they could perform an emergency stop, but even so, like they were cutting it close.
Yeah, I was going to say, that guy just kept driving. The driver kept driving. He saw it, and I was like, why have you not braked? Like, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, everything worked out in the end. Ash and Go head back to the Kanto region to kind of explain to the professor that, this is what happened with Gigantamax Snorlax. But actually, before that,
I was going to say, you're missing one key bit,
yes,
James.
I am missing the key bit.
That Go catches his first Pokemon. He changes his mind about catching Mew. He initially reveals to Scorbunny, after he's found him, after he's trekked miles upon miles to find his soulmate, that Go doesn't want him. He wants Mew. He's flattered, but he wants Mew to be his first Pokemon.
Yeah, Ash should have just walked up and slapped him, I'm not going to lie. But,
yeah.
Thankfully, he saw the error of his ways.
It was a bit heartbreaking to watch, really, and they'd painted it in this really sort of dark and overcast style to really hit home that how sad Scorbunny was feeling. And after Scorbunny and Go perform the miracle to get Snorlax off the tracks, Scorbunny thinks, that's it, I'll see you later, waves goodbye to him, and he was really sad. But Go changes his mind, seems to have changed his dream from having Mew being his first Pokemon, seemingly now being his last. And he gets Scorbunny, not the most successful throw I think we'll ever see. It's something like I would do on Pokemon Go. Tries to go with a curveball, little nod, I think off his name as well, obviously. Completely fails that throw, doesn't he, James?
Yeah, but thankfully, Scorbunny, it's good with its feet, as we know. It recovers, sliding tackles, kicks the Pokeball up in the air, headbutts it, and makes sure it gets caught with that Pokeball.
I've got to say, it's the most willing I've ever seen a Pokemon get into a Pokeball.
I think there has been more. I remember some Pokemon in the old anime just literally go up to a Pokeball, press the button. I can't remember exactly which one it is. But yeah, Scorbunny, very happy to join Go. I'm glad for it. I did say in the last episode, is it going to just travel with Go as is following him throughout the entire series, and then Go's going to catch it in the last episode? But no, I forgot that Go, it was said that Go likes to catch Pokemon and Ash is the battler. We've not really seen that yet. We've seen a few battles with Ash, but we've not seen Go catch stuff, but we will next episode. But talking about this episode as a whole, this was a bit more, I guess it's just showing off more the Galar region this time. It was a more subdued plot. It was just Scorbunny friends Go, and then they got to deal with Gigantamax Snorlax. But it was a good episode, very good episode, and what I did like, actually, this is kind of just a personal thing, we get to see Flygon in the anime, which we don't really see too much. I know it's shown on the poster, I'm pretty sure, but in the Hoenn area of the... Basically, there's a poster with Ash and Go. You guys have probably seen it, but it has little segments of each region. So we knew Flygon was going to be in it, but it's part of the wild area, and that was cool just to see Ash grabbing its tail legs even, and it just seemed to be kind of happy to let Ash kind of fool around. So this was a fun episode showing off the Galar region. I think we're sticking with Kanto next episode, right?
Yeah, it looks like the forest where Ash caught his Caterpie in the original series. And it looks like Go's on the hunt to catch pretty much everything now, which will be quite exciting to see, because I think it was always sort of thought that this is something Ash would do in the original series, and he never really stuck to that. So it'll be nice to see somebody try and complete that mission. But overall, a very strong episode. I think it was sort of there to show the collaboration they've got on the game at the moment. Possibly to boost sales as well, that Christmas is coming up, and people want to see what Sword and Shield is like. Not everybody's going to own it, and I think a lot of kids are going to pick Scorbunny after this episode. Showed a lot of its character and what it's all about, and yeah, really just a very fun episode, and hopefully we'll get to see Galar again very soon.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be back to Galar. What I was thinking today is, are we going to see the gym leaders? Is Ash going to battle any gym leaders? Because for those who play Pokemon Sword and Shield, I love the gym leaders. I love their designs. It would be a real shame if we don't get to see that this series. And also, I want to mention no Team Rocket again. And obviously with Ash and Go traveling to different regions all the time, it's unlikely that Team Rocket will be, following Ash like usual. They're just going to be in, because they normally stick to one region, right? So they're just going to come across him every now and then. I think next episode I'll be very surprised if we don't see him, because it doesn't seem like a plot-heavy episode. It just seems like Ash and Go kind of just doing a little thing. It's not really too much research. I think it's more of just Ash and Go, like as Ollie said, catching Pokemon, especially Go. And it could either be like the forest where he caught Caterpie, Ash caught Caterpie, but it could be the Safari Zone because there's Cypher and a lot of bug Pokemon, basically. There's a lot of bug Pokemon. But I do think you're basically on the right lines. It's going to be a forest of some kind. Doesn't really matter where it is, but it is in Kanto. But I do expect to see Team Rocket make an appearance. And yeah, I always give a little score at the end. Probably this episode I'd give like an 8. It was fun, it was good. I think the last episode, the first time I saw Skull Bunny, was just a better episode as a whole. It was just more going on and just kind of a deeper kind of emotional plot. But this one, again, a very good episode. I enjoyed it. It went really quick, this one, this week. And yeah, I would, again, definitely recommend it to anyone.
So yeah, again, another strong episode. I really enjoyed this one. I'm not one to give a numerical score, as you may already know, but I'm really looking forward to next week's episode. It looks like we'll see plenty of throwbacks to the original series. You can see the Beedrills chasing Ash and a Metapod falling on his head, which I found rather funny. Like you say, possibly not a plot-heavy one. It'll be interesting to see what they do with that, but the fight between Scorbunny and Scyther that's coming up looks to be quite a good one, so looking forward to that.
Yeah, and then after next week's episode, we have a lot of episodes to look forward to because they'll be travelling to quite a few different regions, but we'll save that for then. So guys, if you did enjoy this week's review episode, as always, make sure to hit the like button down below to support this new series. And if you want to stay up to date with everything Pokemon anime, you're in the right place. Make sure to hit the subscribe button down below to become a part of the Twintendo Nation.
Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and we'll see you on the next episode review.
Peace!